All right, what's going on, you guys? Thank you for tuning in for another week of the Mindtality podcast. I'm the host, Rodolfo Felix.
And I'm Eric, back with
Uh,
another episode.
Yes, another episode. All right, so let's jump straight into it. We got a little icebreaker for you guys, as we try to do, just in case you guys are getting into your car, in case you guys are making your coffee. This is be the chance before we get serious. So let's enough talking. As you can tell from the title of the video, we're going to be talking about social media. And today's icebreaker is actually called The Beginnings and the Origins of Social Media. So, Eric, you can just respond with yes or no, okay? And throw out a date when you think that this social media / internet platform came out. So, Mr. Eric, did you have a MySpace?
I did not.
No. I had a MySpace. I remember on MySpace you can actually, very similar to like our platforms today, where you can like create a banner, but back then instead of just a banner, you could actually post on this platform. Like it would be your whole background, so like it would be behind the text, behind like the what is it called, like the comment section of your page. You were actually able to play music. So the second you clicked on that person's page, whatever their playlist was, you would have to listen to it. You could pause the music, but like you got to see like their top songs at the time. And if you guys haven't guessed it already, this platform is MySpace.
Was it similar to Twitter but music version?
Yeah, it was very similar to Twitter. So instead of having a banner, your banner would be your whole background. And right when you click on the page, a playlist pops up and it tells you like what artist is singing it, and then you had an option too to add it to your playlist. You could always edit the playlist. You can always edit your background. You could change the color of text too on your page. Very interesting.
I'm wondering how MySpace would go if it was to reopen in this generation.
I mean, it would take a whole community to get it back afloat. I think it still exists. I think MySpace is still up and running, but when Tom, the creator of MySpace, sold it, I don't know who he sold it to, it really fell off. I think that was like the beginning of advertisements and stuff like that. A lot of hacking went on. So next on the list, did you take a guess on when this platform came out?
Ooh, I know it's in 19 something, but I'm gonna say 1990.
No, close. Not really. It actually came out in 2003. Yeah,
Really?
so not too long ago. 2003. Yeah, I was maybe in 5th grade, which was like probably 2008.
Wow.
So that would make me 10 years old. Yeah, I was 10 years old when I joined MySpace. All right, so the second one here on the list, this one's still alive today as it was back in the day. This platform, funny enough, is actually the most consuming platform of all social medias, and that one is Facebook. So did you have Facebook, or do you still have Facebook?
I had a Facebook, and I'm not gonna lie, the only reason I had a Facebook is because if you joined Facebook on any like apps such as like Clash of Clans, you get some free
Right.
gaming tokens or whatever.
Yeah, gems. Yeah.
I never actually had a Facebook account that I actually used.
Okay. Funny enough, I logged into my 8-ball pool account through my Facebook. So I just thought about that. I logged into it yesterday too. And do you want to take a wild guess as to when this one opened?
Ooh, I actually just watched a documentary on Zuckerberg and how he created Facebook.
Okay.
I'm gonna say it's in the 2000s for sure.
Yeah.
2006 maybe.
Very close. 2004. 2004. So very similar to MySpace. It had a very early introduction to the world in the early 2000s. All right, next on the list here, we actually use it for our podcast to upload, and that is YouTube. So obviously with the podcast, you're part of a YouTube channel. Now, do you want to take a guess as to when this one dropped?
I want to say YouTube was before Facebook. I'm going to say 2003.
Close. 05.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So again, early 2000s. This one again is alive and well. And like I mentioned earlier with Facebook, a little fun fact that Facebook covers upwards of 30% of the world's population. It's the biggest platform in the world today. And a more, I guess we'll save the second fact for later. All right, next on the list here, something that I feel a lot of people don't give enough opportunity when it comes to this app. I feel like they give it a shot, they leave it, and then they never return to it. And do you want to take a guess what application or social media this is?
I'm going to say Instagram.
Close. Twitter. Twitter, I feel like people sleep on it. I feel like people don't give it enough go. I feel like they don't add enough people that they know to really feel like they have like a sense of belonging there. And did you want to take a guess when Twitter dropped?
2007.
Very close. 06.
Ooh.
Yeah, so 06. Twitter was not too far along Myspace, Facebook. And I think you could actually see like the progression. Like MySpace was very basic, but had some cool features here and there. I think which made it very popular is just how basic and plain it was. And then you get Facebook, almost as basic, a little bit more features with the sharing and all that. That's one thing you really couldn't do with MySpace. You couldn't like share a post and make it public. You could just like post like your, not your blog, but just kind of like your status. You could have like a reaction emote and stuff like that. But I think Facebook, you could actually share videos, and on the bottom of the screen you could actually message someone directly and it pop up. That's definitely Facebook like progressing from MySpace. And then YouTube went in a whole different direction with just posting videos as an individual. And then you got Twitter, which is more interface. You could actually have threads and stuff like that. All right, so 06. Let's see here. We got a couple more. This one you mentioned earlier. I thought it came out earlier, along with these other ones, but that one's Instagram. So, do you not have an Instagram?
I have an Instagram and I love it.
Okay. And you're gonna say?
Yes, Instagram, I'm going to say came out in 2010.
Close. 2012.
Wow.
I'm just like bombarding you with all these questions. It's 2012. All right, this last one here on the list before we transition outwards. This last one, I felt like not everyone has. I don't know. You'd be surprised, I guess you used to say, who has this application. This is not a very popular one, but it's definitely up there with these major platforms, and that's Snapchat.
I have a love-hate relationship with Snapchat. I've had Snapchat before. I've deleted it. I've re-downloaded it, and I've deleted it about a dozen times. I currently have it right now, but yeah. I want to say Snapchat came out in 2012.
Yeah, right on the money. Yeah, you got it. And if you didn't catch on sooner, and maybe viewers caught on faster than Eric, but I actually went by like progression. So 2003, 04, 05, 06, and then 2012. All right, so to get a little bit more of a daunting quote, a little bit more gloomy, there's actually more dead people on Facebook than there is people alive. So there's that.
Wow.
So yeah, that's gonna do it for the icebreaker. I hope you guys are settled in. If you guys haven't already, make sure you grab a pen, make sure you grab a paper, and let's go ahead and start the podcast. All right, Eric. So again, we are talking about social media, and do you kind of want to explain social media? Do you want to give us like your first point as we dive in?
Yeah, I'm actually really excited to talk about this topic. I think it's very relevant today. with everything that is going on, but just in general with the moving times that we have. Social media is such a great tool that is used to connect people and reach advertisements out to people, as well as um, content of just things that can reach out there. But however, it could be a distraction. And this is my first point of what I want to reach on, is that social media can be a distraction to people. And what I mean by that, I'm going to give you an example. You ever wonder why Lamborghinis don't have TV commercials? And they say it's because their target audience isn't sitting around watching TV. They're reading books. They're going out to events and communicating, networking with people. So Lamborghini focused all of their marketing towards magazines and networking events, because they realized that the people that are making good money aren't watching TV. And to me, that was a big eye changer, eye opener, just with social media in general. The fact that it can be such a distraction from what you really need to be doing, such as reading books and people. It also can make you procrastinate. So I don't know about you, Aaron, but for me, um, I procrastinate sometimes with my homework assignments. I will go on Instagram, TikTok, whatever it might be, and I just get lost in the sauce. I'll be on there for quite a bit, and I just keep pushing back my assignment until it's getting too close, and I can't wait any longer, and then I have to go and complete my assignment. So social media can be one of those biggest distractions from you actually completing the things that you need to get done. And bring up to my last point about this is that it changes your mindset of what you were thinking to a new mindset. And what I mean by that is, like, let's just say, for example, I'm going about my daily business. I'm have my task in my head, right? I'm going over a plan of what I want to do throughout the day. Then I look on my social media, and that plan can change based off of my social media, on my interaction with my social media. I could go from doing one thing to changing my entire day to fixing it around what I just witnessed on social media. And that's how easy it can be, Aaron. I mean, I don't know if it's the same way for you, but for me, I get really distracted with it. What do you, or what about social media affects your mindset, Rodolfo?
So I would say a contribution to my mindset being altered is definitely the content that I'm viewing. Some content that I view is very intentional. ESPN, Sports Center, whatever it is. I'm into bodybuilding, I'm into sports, I'm into motivation. So things like that, they influence my mindset in a positive manner. But on the flip side, you have platforms like we spoke about earlier, Snapchat, Facebook, some things on Twitter can be also bad content. And the way that this influences or affects my mindset is that it's the two things. I know last podcast I talked about, always throw out the W's, the who, the what, the why. And I think a lot of the times our mindset can be impacted on social media by who we're allowing to reach out to us, and what they're saying and what they're advertising, what they're promoting. And like I said, it could be intentional and sometimes not. Sometimes you have a momentum right when you wake up in the morning. Like Baker Mayfield said, is that he woke up yesterday morning, the day of his wild card game, and he said he woke up feeling dangerous. And I'm sure that he was going to do everything in his power to prevent from his mindset being altered. So I bet you he put down the social media. I bet you he put down the drama on the TV because he wants to stay focused. And that's the mentality that we need to have when we approach our mind. That's the sensitivity that we need to have when we approach our mind, is we need to understand that as humans, we're very influenced, and it starts with the content that we consume 100%. So Eric, what do you believe that about social media that people may not understand?
Yeah, so growing up, we've always had social media in our lives. Since a young, early childhood, we've kind of grown up with social media. And as I've gotten older, I've learned that what you see on social media isn't always true. It can be deceiving, it can be false, it can be fake news. And what I want to really harp in on is that, let's just say for Instagram, for example, Instagram is a perfect platform that you get to view other rich billionaires' lives with the things that they post, the stuff that they buy, the items that they have. Now that's great. It's cool. You know, Dan Brazilian or all those other people that have these rich luxurious lives, that's obtainable, or that's what you want to reach for. But it's not something that, I guess, should be your mindset. Should be It's not a goal that you should be trying to get. What you should be trying to obtain is your purpose, your dream, whatever that might be. And having all these like Lamborghinis and nice cars, that those are nice, but may not be what you want, or it may not be the best thing for you. So to me, I think that it can be deceiving on what your purpose is and what your goals are. Don't always try and reach for what other people have. I've learned that you need to go with what you have and what your purpose or what your goals are, and try and go to achieve them. Also, I know that, like, on a lot of bodybuilders, a lot of people that are investing in the stock market, they always tell you these get rich quick schemes, or do this and you lose weight, and take this and you'll be as bulk as me, when that may not necessarily be the truth, because of your body type, or because of different things, because they can be deceiving. You know, now don't listen to what everybody has to say on social media, because it can not be true. They may just be saying it to get more followers and more people, so that they can support their revenue. So everything that's on social media is not necessarily true, you know. And you got to think to yourself about social media, and about how you view it. It shouldn't be viewed as something that you use as just, like, I guess, relaxation time. It can be, but more or less it should be used as a tool to further you, to further your goals, you know. So the question you need to ask yourself is, does your platform have a purpose, or is it just there for that, just to be there? And that's a really good mindset that I think that I've tried to develop, and still trying to develop, is a purpose for my platform, not just to have it, but to have a purpose for it. um, and this is the old age question, Rodolfo, that I'm still trying to work with myself. But what do you believe is a safe amount of time to spend on social media in a day?
Yeah, that's a very good question. It's a question that I 100% believe it's different for everyone. I think a lot of it has to do with tolerance. Like, how much tolerance do you have? Like, how much before you start feeling the repercussions of the things that you're consuming. Um, as we were preparing for the agenda, I was telling you that I was kind of like, shoot, because I went to my settings, or at first I Googled how to check your social media activity or your phone activity. So it tells you like what applications you spend the most time on, what applications drain your battery, how long you stay on them. Um, and I never set it up. So I actually set it up this morning, and I encourage you guys to do it also. So for those who are on Apple, it's really easy. You just go to your settings, and then it's like the fifth tab down. It says actual screen activity. Activate that, you guys. Let's get serious about our mind. Let's get serious about, like Eric said, our purpose. Let's be more intentional. So I guess to throw something out there, I would say no more than 2 or 3 hours of social media. I think that's fair to start off with. Maybe you'll find yourself doing less, maybe an hour in total, collective throughout the day. Just like all things, you don't want to go too hard. You don't want to go too extreme. You don't want to just go cold turkey because you're going to set yourself up for failure. So like all things, just set a goal, set something basic, and then kind of weave your lifestyle around it. You know, if the toilet's the only time you go on social media, then that's it. But if you have a lot of time in your hands, make sure you have more discipline. So like I said, this one's going to be different for everyone, so there is no exact time. Maybe you do your Zoom meetings on your phone. So like on your phone activity, Zoom's going to be like an hour 45. Like that's an hour 45 of your 2 hour goal. Like, that's, then you understand, okay, well, you didn't really have a lot of social media time. So you can kind of bump it to closer to 2.5 hours or 3 hours that day. Just don't be crucial. But then again, just kind of weave your lifestyle around it and challenge yourself. This should be a positive challenge. So if you set a 2 hour goal, make use of it, or understand like, okay, I'm just going to briefly scroll through this app, and then I'm going to go to the next, and then put my phone down, and then I'll do that in 2 hours later, just so you hit your mark, whatever that goal is. But a question for you, for those who enjoy social media and don't necessarily want to give it up, Eric, what's a mindset that you can give us to help us see the other side of this mentality of wanting to put the phone down?
Yeah. So for me, it was my perception of connection with different people. So everybody has this inherent desire to belong to a group, to belong to an association, or just to fit in with people. And I think that's one of the biggest things that social media does, is that it connects you to people that you may not have met before, or may not have met ever, if it wasn't for social media. But what people need to understand about it is that you have several followers, but how many of those followers are true friends? How many of those followers actually care about you and your pursuit of your goals that you have? How many of those followers will help you achieve that goal? Um, Not many, really. If you look in your life right now, not many of those followers are actually helping you to achieve your goal. So that's one of the things that people need to understand with social media, is that they're trying to pursue a belonging to a platform that isn't trying to help them achieve their goal. So changing the idea of social media as the goal to a tool is what really needs to be the mindset when approaching social media. In a lot of ways, social media can be harmful too, like with Rodolfo talking about the content in which you view. Sometimes I'll go on my social media, and the connection between people is just it's just bad. They have a lot of hate or a lot of um, mean things to say, and it affects me personally. Um, I mean, what do you think? Do you really think that social media impacts us directly, Rodolfo?
Yeah, 100%, 100%, Eric. I always like to say that us humans, we always think that like we're exception to the rule of one another. Like, where we see someone fall into a snare, into a trap, and then we want to do the same thing and believe that that's not going to happen to us. Um, it's just part of our nature. I don't know why we have that mentality, but this is why we have this podcast, because we want to start breaking these cycles in every area of our lives. But yeah, so definitely it does impact us directly. I think social media has a natural tendency to be toxic. I don't think people do it intentionally, but I just think it's kind of like a ping, or not a ping pong ball, but like one of those pinballs, where like something negative happens and then someone has an opinion, and their opinion varies, and then their opinion varies, and everyone wants to be right. And there is no right answer on social media. Then people want to quote statistics, and then it's endless. So yes, it does impact us directly. I want to put a point in. The point of this is consequences. That's definitely my point when it comes to social media impacting us. It impacts us directly, and there's also consequences of staying on social media and dwelling in social media. And I know a lot of times in public, social media for me is actually a point of conversation. And sometimes it could be about like, oh, you think Disneyland's going to reopen? I seen an article on Twitter. So some things may be innocent in nature, But we have to then, worry about who and what you're talking about. Oh, did you see what happened with the Capitol? And then someone may have a complete different opinion. So it impacts us directly. And with that being said, I think for those who are in question or are questioning, like, why do I have a spike in my anxiety? Why do I have a spike in my fear? Why am I so prejudiced toward this person? Or why am I so angry? You guys, you have to understand that these are direct consequences of social media. And again, like I said earlier, no human is an exception to the rule of us being like creatures of habit. Okay. So the last point that I want to make is that that we become a little reckless on social media. We like our mentality on social media is just kind of like, I believe in this and this is my lifestyle, blah blah blah. And a point that Eric shared with me on consequences is that we're not looking ahead into our future. A lot of us are either trying to get into school or in school, going to finish and ready to start their careers, or a lot of people are at a job that is a transitioning point to a more professional career. And you have to understand, you guys, that social media can become a barrier for you obtaining that job that could help your family, for you that for you who are in hopes of getting into a certain school. So you don't want to jeopardize these opportunities because you didn't have the discipline or the knowledge to know that, man, social media is the one to blame, when we have the power to avoid that. So that's about everything, right, Eric? We
Yeah,
hope you guys we
that's
hope you guys really buy into what we have to say, for sure. And then you can go ahead and give us your last point, or give us like your last little words of wisdom, and then close us out with a quote, Eric.
Yeah, it's such a powerful or such an important thing to understand about social media is that it can be used as a tool, but also can be affect you with your job and your colleges or wherever you might be in your life. So use 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 it wisely. Use social media wisely, and however much time you spend on it, and go about your week and try and look at the amount of time that you spend. And when you do spend the time, change the time that you spend on it to be useful to you. Use it as a tool. Try and change the platform to have a purpose. Have it try to achieve your goal. And this kind of ends with control your destiny, or somebody else will. I think that's a powerful message.
Thank you for that, Eric. All right, guys. So like I said, this is Rodolfo on the Mindtality podcast.
And my name is Eric.
And we'll see you guys in the next week episode.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
People come and go, it's all the same. Speed the roads on a dull days to any place that's far away. I never learned anybody's name. We all vowed that we wouldn't stay. Kissing signs on the interstate. All we do for